And I wanted to tackle something that I think is becoming extremely important in today's workforce, and that is communication culture. And it's something that I don't think most companies even think about. I know they're trying now to create more a culture of belonging, but if you want to have belonging, you've got to have connection. And so obviously, company culture plays a role in shaping how employees approach their communications, but what is your recommendation for how companies could incentivize better communication habits through their culture?
When it comes to culture, I've seen a lot of weird things companies have been doing. So, a big thing with return to the office, for instance, is we're going to bring everyone back to the office to improve culture. But if you were to ask me, as a consultant or a professor researcher, what's the best way we can improve culture? My answer for let's put everyone in a room and lock them together is probably pretty far down the list. There's actually like an old 90s movie where they locked a bunch of parents together who are divorcing to try and get them back together. And in reality, if you want to improve culture, think about, well, what's direct here? Well, we want to improve trust. What are ways we can do that? Well, one, show you care about your employees, show you care about their voice, about their preferences. That's a much more direct approach to that than just putting everyone in the same room. And if you put a bunch of people who don't like each other in the same room, it's not going to magically improve the culture. One of the other recommendations I give in the book is to have a conversation amongst your team about communication practices to make the implicit more explicit. There's some really interesting studies on the email urgency bias. And that is the idea that when someone sends you an email, you tend to think that it needs a quicker response than they actually do. So, John, if you sent me an email, I'd say, okay, this is someone who has a really important podcast. They want a response from me ASAP. But in reality, on your end, you're probably like, I'm busy. I don't care if he gets back to me in the next 3 days. But the problem with that is because recipients think a response is needed much more quickly, that creates a whole lot of stress on their part. They feel this need to constantly check their messages. And that can really worsen culture because even when they're at home, they're checking their phones and everything else. So, the way to get around this is to have conversations, explicit ones. Okay, how quickly should we respond to emails? How quickly do we expect a response? How quickly should we respond to instant messages or Slack messages? Well, what if there's an emergency? What's the best way to get in touch with each other? Should it be text message? Should it be putting an urgent tag or something else? And by doing that, you allow people better ability to A, focus during the day because they're not constantly checking their messages, and B, to disconnect more at night so they can come back to work recovered and happier in the process. So, really making sure to not rely on assumptions and actually come together as a team and figure out, well, what works for us? What's best for us is one of the best things you can do to improve your communication culture.